Well, hello everyone! Welcome back to Spirit of Justice. Previously, the investigation continued. We found a bloody candelabra, which was very curious because we already know what the murder weapon is. Or do we? Well, the pointy end of the candelabra was evidently used to stab Soren Sprocket, the fiancé of the defendant. He got rushed to the hospital when his wound reopened while we were questioning him. And what's more, some other bloodstains we found indicated that Soren was present at the scene when the victim was assaulting his bride, the defendant. So, it's a huge old mess now, isn't it? Anywho, we're following more leads, and it brought us back to the place where the body was discovered, the reception hall. So, we already spoke with Maya and annoyed her quite a bit, so let's look around. Well, the mess in the middle has been cleaned up, but otherwise, nothing new is quite jumping out at me. Oh, that's the patched up Pegabole, huh? We'll get to that in a bit. Hey, take a look at that door. I wonder where it goes. Oh, the partitions are gone. Oh, this changes things. Shall we open it up and see? Wait, please don't open that. It's the emergency escape hatch. It leads directly outside. You'll fall to your death. Whoa, that was a close one, huh, Maya? I'll say. Well, that, I think, may be the source of whatever fell past Larry's window that he mistook for a pterodactyl. I swear that makes sense if you know. Oh. Get a load of that huge set of doors. I bet all sorts of things come and go through there. Like an elephant. I'm pretty sure it's just the bride and groom. This is a banquet hall, not a circus. And thank God for that. Oh. What is that, a key? It's a key, but it looks like a wind-up thing for a toy. Oh, that's so precious. I love that. That's really good. How have I never seen that before in media? That's so obvious of a combination. Wow. This is where the murder weapon, the timekeeper, was displayed. I guess it's in police custody now. Huh? What's this, a key? Let's ask the maid about it. Good idea. She might be able to tell us something. Excuse me, could I ask you a question? Oh, of course. What would you like to know? Do you know anything about this key? It's the key that starts up the timekeeper. A startup key? That's right. Oh, the first startup of love ceremony was so beautiful. The bride and groom each had a symbol of their love, and when they put them together, oh, how romantic it was. First startup of love ceremony? What exactly did that entail? Oh, it's a ceremony in which the couple activated the timekeeper together for the first time. I suppose it was kind of like a cake-cutting ceremony. And what are these symbols of their love you mentioned? Well, that's kind of an industry secret, so I can't really say. I'm sorry, I'd better be getting back to my work. Looks like there's an order from above not to talk about it. It's another beautiful day outside, isn't it? Yeah. If only it wasn't the scene of a murder, we could really enjoy it. True. Must be tough for the maids to have to work on a beautiful day like today. Oh, we don't mind. Whoa, I didn't think you could hear me way over here. We don't think of it as simply cleaning. It's more like we're wiping away all of the sadness stuck to this airship. Wow, talk about devoted. Hey, I think that tablecloth is new. They must have changed it since yesterday. Huh? How can you tell? Because the food stains that were there are now gone. I should have known it's because it's food related. I guess we've checked out everything of interest in this area. Nick! What's wrong, Maya? This hasn't moved an inch since the last time we looked at it. It would be pretty creepy if it had. Look, we're in the middle of an important investigation, so try not to shout, okay? I was just hoping it had changed somehow. You know, so it'd be more interesting. Last thing we need is for things to get more interesting. Alright, final angle. Excuse me, is the fog machine ready to use now? No, I'm afraid not. We only put dry ice in it when there's an actual reception. I see. That's too bad. She still wants to blast me with a cloud of smoke, doesn't she? Here's the broken lantern, all patched up. And I do mean patched. Huh. Emma put the handles the wrong way around. The unpainted bloody one should be on the inside, not the outside. Emma said this was some of her best work, so I know she put a lot of effort into it. Oh, now I just feel bad. It was pretty smashed up. It must have been a lot of work to piece it back together. Well, she gets an A for effort at any rate. Huh? This wheel handle on the back has some blood on it. Looks like somebody gripped it with a bloody hand. Maybe the blood got there when the killer was putting old Doom and Gloom's body inside. Do you see anything else worth noting? Well, there's another one of these lanterns over there. So it might be a good idea to really compare the two later. And by later, I guess that means now? There really should be more warnings and sign postage for that door, but oh well. This is the unbroken Pegable lantern. And this is the one that Emma restored. I wouldn't say they look exactly the same, more that they're made up of the same parts. Wait a minute. What is it, Maya? I think there's something odd about this Pegable. Just about everything about it looks off to me. I'm not quite sure what it is, but some detail isn't quite right. Show me the restored lantern again. Hey! Oh, hey, I know. It's this, right? What? Where? The thing about the restored lantern that's off is the... Look, it's the wheel handle. It's a different color altogether. Emma got the inside and outside wheel handle switched around. Oh, wow, you're right. And there's blood here on this handle, as if somebody gripped it with a bloody hand. Right. which means that the blood got on the handle from inside the lantern. Do you think the blood got there when the killer was putting the body in the lantern? Huh. It's really hard to say at this point. Oh. Well, I think we've checked out everything relevant to this case. What are you two doing here? Wait, what are you doing here? Larry? Oh. Whoa, yeah, what is he doing here? Soren, shouldn't you be resting in bed? You're injured. How do you know about that? Never mind. My notebook. Have you seen my notebook? I can't find it anywhere. My notebook. I need my notebook. What's the matter with him? How do you know that? You know, after one of Soren's aloof comments earlier, Phoenix mused to himself, did he completely forget about us? And his journal, ever since the accident, is filled to the brim with meticulous details of every event of every day. I think the injury of the car accident left him with, memory issues. Like, not quite amnesia, but like a continual lapse of all memory. My notebook. I have to have, Master Soren. Master Soren, I told you to stay in bed. My notebook. Here you go. Yes, this is it. So Soren gets emotionally unstable without that notebook of his? Oh. Looks like he's calmed down now. Soren, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? I cannot allow you to do that. What if his wound were to open up again? He needs to rest. I guess you're right. Now, if you will excuse us. Master Soren, let us retire. All right. There they go. Now, Soren was pretty feverishly leafing through that book, and he made no comment whatsoever about the blood splatter pages, because Maya dropped the notebook. Did Pierce just give Soren a fake notebook? I think he might have. Pierce is right. I guess he really isn't in any condition to be questioned. Well, let's go back to the agency and sort through what we've learned. Okay. We're back. Anybody here? Oh, hi, boss. Athena, I thought you were with Trucy. I guess you could say that I'm taking a short break. But enough about me. What about the investigation? Did you find out anything? Well, turns out that the third person Ellen says she saw at the crime scene might have been Soren Sprocket. What? Really? I always thought he seemed suspicious. Thing is, by the time Soren got to the Vista deck, the murder had already occurred, apparently. No way! I don't buy that! Not for a second! It's a cover-up! A cover-up, I tell you! That's certainly a possibility. And as a lawyer, it's certainly a possibility I have to pursue, but... But what? It's your job, right? So pursue the heck out of it! Just do it! Yeah, but is that really what's best for Ellen? Soren could be found guilty if the truth comes out tomorrow. But if we don't pursue this possibility, Ellen could be found guilty instead. Oh man, either way it sure doesn't spell out happily ever after for the two of them. So what are you gonna do, Mr. Wright? I can't let an innocent person get convicted, so I guess all I can really do is pursue the truth, even if it ends up devastating Ellen. What a tough call to make. Still, there's always a chance, right? Maybe something will come up during the trial that will save their marriage. I hope so. I really do. Well, Maya, let's go. Break the news to Ellen, you mean? Yep. Mr. Wright, please take me with you. I bet I could help you counsel Ellen through this piece of bad news. Athena, I appreciate the offer, but don't you have somewhere else to be? Do I? Athena, what are you doing here? I've been looking all over for you. Come on now, let's get back to practicing. No, wait, my body can't take it anymore. Boss, you gotta help me. A lawyer always keeps their promises, Athena. Boss! If you bail on me one more time, Athena, I'm going to use a real blade on you. Okay. Eek! While I do want to see a lot more of Athena, this is goddamned hilarious, so I'm fine with it. Sorry, Athena, but somebody's gotta do it. Better you than me, though. Hang in there, kiddo. Come on, Maya, we'd better get going. Alright. Hello, Ellen. How did your investigation go, Mr. Wright? Before I answer that, I need to ask you something. Was Soren with you when Mr. Gloomsbury attacked you in the reception hall? I'm sorry I kept it from you. I was afraid that he'd come under suspicion if I told you. So I kept quiet about it. I'm really sorry. I see. I thought it was probably something like that. Listen, Ellen, I'm afraid I had to make a very difficult decision based on what I found out. What kind of decision? This is very hard for me to say, but the mysterious person you saw at the scene of the crime was most likely Soren. What? In other words, in court tomorrow, I'm afraid I'll have to propose the possibility that Soren is the true culprit. No! Soren is innocent! No! But don't you see? If I don't try to pursue that line of thought, you'll be found guilty. No! 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 Please, Helen, calm down. Wow! Soren just can't be found guilty. I'd much rather I be found guilty instead. Ellen, you can't let yourself think like that. But, no! Marriage is for life, right? Do you really think you can run away from the truth and still be truly happy with him? Wow! You're not married, so how can you possibly understand? Sometimes you just got to do whatever it takes to make things work. The way things stands, if Soren really is the killer, clearly he was defending the life of his bride. I could reconcile with that. But Nick, you talk to her. Hey, don't just dump this all on me. Mr. Wright, I'm innocent and Soren is too. So please, prove our innocence in court. I'll certainly do everything in my power. I just hope she doesn't lose control like this in court tomorrow. To be continued. Right now, and boy, we have plenty ahead of us, don't we? Yeah, 40 minutes left. Huh. Oh my god, we're here. Ah! We're on the precipice. The threshold. This is truly the end. Right here. Oh my god. So the one thing we found out yesterday is that Soren was there at the crime scene. I only hope I can get some testimony from him that'll get to the heart of the matter. Mr. Wright. Good morning, Ellen. Look, I'm afraid you might not like the result of today's trial. Nevertheless... Don't tell me you're still thinking of going that route. Soren is innocent. He can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Ellen, please, try and get a hold of yourself. I believe in Soren with all of my heart. So how dare you doubt him? Regardless of which one of them is found guilty today, it's going to be devastating for Ellen, isn't it? We'll just have to do everything we can. That's the best we can do, you know? The trial is about to begin, Mr. Wright. All right, let's go, Maya. Yeah. Day 2. Court is now in session. All rise. Oh. I actually feel a really intense emotion in my heart. I feel it. Oh, this is bittersweet, man. Wow. What a trip. All right. I guess there's nothing else for it. Court is back in session for the trial of Ellen Wyatt. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Let's see now. Where were we? In yesterday's session, we found out about the Sprocket family's conspiracy to cover up the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury with a second reception. Taking advantage of our collective shock, the defense, as usual, made a nonsensical claim. Namely, that there was a third person present who struck the victim. Objection! Hey, don't try to make it sound like I made it all up. The defendant herself made a statement about the existence of the third person, and further investigation has only proven her statement to be true. Then I presume the defense intends to focus on proving the identity of this third person. Is that all right with you, Mr. Edgeworth? Indeed, Your Honor. In fact, I predict that the defense will, most likely, attempt to name Mr. Soren Sprocket as the true culprit. How did you... The driver during the accident that killed Mr. Sprocket's sister was the victim. Therefore, Mr. Sprocket had a motive to murder Mr. Gloomsbury. Wow. Yeah, I'm not imagining this. The pacing of this case is so much faster than it usually is. Usually this would be drawn out bit by bit. And it has the added effect of making Edgeworth look really efficient and cool. That's what you plan to assert, is it not, Mr. Wright? Am I that transparent? Come now, Mr. Wright. Did you really think the police wouldn't uncover this information? Congrats on getting it in one, Mr. Edgeworth. But... You're wrong. Soren didn't do it. He's innocent. Miss Wyatt, please. He's innocent, I tell you. What is this, Mr. Wright? I thought your claim about the existence of a third person came from the defendant. It did. This is just a minor hiccup. Did you not discuss your strategy for today with the defendant, Mr. Wright? Starting off on the wrong foot again is seriously cutting into my lifespan. It would appear that the defense is in disarray. Therefore, the best way to clear things up is to ask Mr. Sprocket himself what happened. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call Soren Sprocket to the stand. What? Very well. Bailiff, please bring Mr. Sprocket to the witness stand. I bet the Capcom employees who spent hours of their life modeling Soren's shoes applauded when they got to this part of the game. All that work, just for that little shot. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Oh! There is something written on this paper airplane. Let's see. Soren Sprocket, Managing Director of Sprocket Aviation. Mr. Sprocket, please give your answers in words, not paper airplanes. Now then, Mr. Sprocket, please tell the doubting lawyer there what really happened at the time of the crime. Well, Mr. Sprocket? Mr. Sprocket. All right. You want me to talk about what happened when the crime occurred? In other words, after the first wedding reception, when Elena and I were in the reception hall, right? Not even the power of the court can stop him from marching to the beat of his own drum. I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall and I collapsed to the floor. The next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumas on the Vista deck. I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. But when I got there, Dumas was already... I don't want to believe it, but it must have been Ellen. Nothing else makes sense. Wait just a minute here. You actually think Miss Wyatt killed the victim? That's right. Dumas was killed by Ellen. This is unbelievable. How can you suspect your bride, the one you love?
Objection!
The truth can be cruel. Miss Wyatt, you must be very upset. Is there anything you wish to say? Oh. That's actually really sad. No, I can't believe this, Soren. I thought that at least you would believe in me. The best way now is to show your love for your groom is to admit your guilt and try to atone. Soren!
Hold it!
Mr. Edgeworth, haven't even cross-examined the witness yet. And quit picking on the clearly distraught. Yeah, that's not cool, Mr. Edgeworth. A court is where we seek the truth, and the truth is unyielding even to the truly pitiful. Mr. Edgeworth, I find it distasteful to make a lady cry. At 2, Your Honor. So what are you going to do, Nick? If the third person Ellen saw on the Vista deck was Soren, then we have to prove Soren was there at the time of the murder. I don't see any obvious inconsistencies in his testimony, but we have to push forward. Cross-examination. What Soren remembers. Yep. We'll press everything. Boy, these shorter... The shorter duration for these trials in this DLC case really makes my health points go a longer way, don't they? That's nice. I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall, and I collapsed to the floor. You know, did I ever mention... The people in the background... They're low detail in the dark, you're not really meant to focus on them, but all the same, would it really be that much trouble to not have duplicates? I see the same lady and 3 of the same dude. It's interesting, but okay. I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall, and I collapsed to the floor. Hold it! Please tell me everything you can about when you got stabbed. After the reception, Ellen and I were enjoying a moment alone in the reception hall. Then Dumas appeared and stabbed me. He grabbed Ellen and the timekeeper and left the reception hall. Did Mr. Gloomsbury say anything at that time? I don't remember. After I was stabbed, I was immobilized by the pain. I see. The next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumas on the Vista deck. Hold it! The Vista deck, huh? But it was nighttime then. Could you really see them in the darkness? The moon was out, so I could see them clearly. From the looks of it, Dumas was trying to push Ellen and the timekeeper off the side. So you saw the defendant, about to be thrown off the airship, you say? That's right. In such a desperate situation, it would only be natural for her to fight for her life. And the murder weapon was right there within her grasp. This isn't going well at all. I've got to do something fast. I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. Hold it! I understand that your bride was in danger, but... were you really able to move the stab wound to the gut? I was desperately trying to push the pain out of my mind. I see. So adrenaline kicked in and gave you strength, is that right? I don't see much of anything in this statement I can refute. That's right. I almost passed out several times as I made my way to the Vista deck. But when I got there, Dumas was already... Hold it! Are you absolutely sure, Mr. Sprocket, that by the time you got to the Vista deck, the murder had already been committed? Yes. But the Vista deck is just on the other side of the glass windows in the reception hall. Shouldn't you have been able to get there right away? Objection! Mr. Wright, have you investigated nothing? The only way to the Vista deck is to go to the hold and take the lift. Oh, I think I know what the contradiction is, I think. No matter how much one hurries, it would take at least 10 minutes. 10? Really? 10? The dirigible's not that large, man. What? Plus, those elevators are really slow. Well, that's unhelpful. But Soren had to have gotten there before the murder, or my claim won't stand. Do you have any ideas for me, Maya? It's definitely easier to prove that someone did go to the hold than not. I mean, you can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right? Can't leave anything. Wait a minute. I think Maya is onto something here. The lack of a certain something actually proves that Soren didn't go to the hold. Okay. What's the matter? Are you stumped already? No, I'm far from stumped, Mr. Edgeworth. I know for a fact that Mr. Sprocket didn't go to the hold. You and your paper-thin bluffs. Mr. Sprocket's bloodstain on the lift proves he went through the hold. So what possible proof could you have that he did not, in fact, go through there? You want proof? You got it. You can do this, Phoenix. There's gotta be proof that Soren didn't go through the hold. Well, Mr. Wright? This proves that Mr. Sprocket didn't go through the hold. Alright. Where was it? Yep. No sight of Soren. Ye gods, did he go through the exit door and climb around the side of the dirigible? With that stab wound? I don't know. Hold on, can I look at the... Maybe? I don't know. Well...
Take that!
As anyone can see from the hold entry record, there's absolutely no mention of Soren Sprocket entering the hold. The defense asserts that Mr. Sprocket used a different route to get to the Vista deck. You can assert all you want, Mr. Wright, but can you actually prove another route exists? Can I prove the existence of another route to the Vista deck, you ask? I can? I can prove it. Even if it's just a bluff, I have to present something. Anything that could prove the existence of a faster route to the Vista deck. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Show us how Mr. Sprocket got to the Vista deck. Mr. Sprocket made for the Vista deck through here. But bam.
Take that!
To save his bride from danger, Mr. Sprocket opened the escape hatch and made his way along the outside wall to the Vista deck. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? That would certainly be a much faster route to the Vista deck.
Objection!
I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. Is that really the best you could muster? That escape hatch is not meant to be used to get from the reception hall to the Vista deck. One slip and that's all it would take for Mr. Sprocket to plunge to his death. I have to agree. The defense's claim is really stretching it.
Hold it!
I understand how it sounds, Your Honor. But at this point, it's too early to definitively say that he didn't go that way. So that's what you're going with then, I take it? Of course, Your Honor. This is real life, Mr. Wright, not some cinematic drivel or comic book. You have some sort of logical explanation to share that would convince us of your claim. I do. Are you sure, Nick? Kind of. Actually, I have nothing, so I'll just have to wing it somehow. On what do you base your theory that Mr. Sprocket made his way along the outside? My theory that he was able to go along the outside wall despite the danger is based on the power of authority, the power of money, or the power of love. Yeah. Okay, so money can buy you a lot of things. A lot of things. But, no. An authority, well, I don't think he has an illithid tadpole in his head, so I doubt it. So, let's go with the power of love. To save the bride he loves, the groom risked his life and rushed to her side. Mr. Sprocket was able to make it to the Vista deck despite the danger. Because of the power of love. The power of love! That love is a source of strength that can help one overcome many obstacles. I think I can relate, thanks to my own long, happy marriage. Wow, he actually seems to be buying it.
Objection!
The power of love, you say? That kind of illogical argument is hardly viable in a court of law. Edgeworth, you wouldn't know this, but when has love ever been logical? Well, that was actually a bigger insult than I thought it would be. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I'm afraid not, Mr. Edgeworth. You should never underestimate the power of love. You'll understand one day when you get married. Which I won't. Boo! Boo, I say! Boo! Exactly what is so wrong with wishing to remain unwed? Okay, honestly, that was just me being a shipper. I personally never want to get married either. I am content to live with cats my whole life. So I relate. Way to set him off, Your Honor. Never mind all of this unscientific nonsense. Are you aware, Mr. Wright, that at the time of the crime... Oh. There was a huge propeller turning at full speed between the hatch and the Vista deck. Even if a person were to go outside through the hatch... they'd be blown away in an instant. Ah! Where does your power of love get you now, Mr. Wright? A huge spinning propeller, you say? In that case, I have to admit it does seem impossible. I should have known. Nick, you can't make that kind of face in front of your client. The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. Right? Right. I feel like I just saw Mia looking out at me through Maya's eyes. Aww. Well, what's wrong, Nick? Why are you gaping at me like a giant sunfish? Thank you, Maya. You just helped me remember something really important. There it is. There's that fearless smile I was looking for. Now give us a mind-blowing theory, just like you always do. I have to turn my thinking around. Instead of wondering how Soren could have moved past that huge propeller, I have to think about what could have made it possible for him to do so. Your Honor, Mr. Wright only makes that ridiculous face when his back is pressed against the wall. Therefore, please do hurry and give your ruling before... Mr. Edgeworth, it's still far too early to discount my theory. What are you talking about? The airship's large spinning propellers have already shredded it to pieces. But if we think a little more outside the box, I'm sure we can find a way he could have made it. Stop trying to stall, Mr. Wright, and show us how it could have been even remotely possible, if at all. I must agree with Mr. Edgeworth. Very well, Your Honor. There must have been a way. Some way that Soren could have moved along the wall in spite of the propeller. Now then, Mr. Wright, what specifically would have made it possible? Okay. Not looking at the options just yet. I need to theorize on my own. My best guess is that the propellers were off and not spinning. But you might say, wouldn't that mean the dirigible would be plummeting to the ground? Well, not necessarily. Look, so we know that think of the broken bench and a map in the park below at the mooring dock. Apparently, the bench was blown into the map and collided with it due to a huge gust of wind. I can only assume that came from the dirigible. What if the propellers were turned off for just a moment, giving Soren enough time to make his way over to the Vista deck, and as the dirigible was descending through the air, it was turned back on, and the sudden powerful gust to overcompensate for regaining stability in the air was what moved that bench. That is my best guess. So let me look at the options here. He got to the deck some other way. Oh, no, it has to be this. The airship wasn't flying. The propellers were broken. Yeah, it's this. What allowed Mr. Sprocket to go along the outside wall in spite of the propellers is the location of the flying chapel at the time of the crime. The location of the flying chapel? But wasn't it flying high in the sky? No, Your Honor. I'm afraid it wasn't. What? Then where was it? At the time of the murder, the airship wasn't flying through the sky, but moored to the ground. What? And if the airship wasn't flying, then that means the propellers weren't turning. In which case, Mr. Sprocket could have gone to the Vista deck along the outside wall. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? Oh, he stabbed the wrong side of the pen. I hate it when that happens. That always hurts. I don't remember. Ow, he stabbed himself with his pencil. That's gotta leave a mark.
Objection!
Even if the propellers weren't turning, it would have been far too risky to go that way. Ah, but Mr. Edgeworth, you are forgetting about the power of love. Yes, the amazing power of love. Not this again. Very well. For the sake of argument, let's assume this so-called power of love made it possible for Mr. Sprocket to move along the outside wall of the airship. Can you prove that the airship was tied to the ground as you claim, Mr. Wright? Well, I don't have any evidence that proves where the airship was at the time. Do I? What does it say? I don't know. You can prove it, can't you? Maya, can you think of anything we can use to prove it? Can't say I can. Oh, wait! Didn't somebody see something outside a window at the time of the crime? I think I remember someone saying as much. Do I have a piece of evidence that shows what was outside the airship? Oh. Could this show the mooring tower? I don't know. Could it? Okay, what else was at the park? There were trees, A big Ferris wheel? Huh. I don't know. Well, what are you waiting for? This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the crime. Okay, I don't know where this is going after this, but...
Take that!
This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the murder. What kind of lousy drawing is that? It's a drawing made by Larry Butts. And what can you prove with that poor attempt at artistry? I don't know, man. That's a nice chair. Larry made this drawing before he switched the lanterns, so it must have been right around when the murder was being committed. Now, if I could direct the court's attention here. Is that a pterodactyl? Does that mean that the airship actually went back in time to the Cretaceous period?
Objection!
We've already proven that time travel is nothing more than a gimmick, did we not? We did, and I have no intention of bringing up that argument again. But this drawing shows us an important piece of information. It shows us that the airship was actually moored on the ground. And what makes you so sure? That's easy. All you have to do is consider who made this drawing. Oh. Yeah, he snuck aboard. And to do that, it had to be moored. Okay, hello. Larry. That's right. It was Mr. Butts, and we both know what he's like. He must have seen something else and mistaken it for a pterodactyl. I can't argue with you there. Hey, wait just one doggone second here. What kind of moron do you guys take me for? I saw it with my own eyes. A pterodactyl flew right by the window, I tell you. I have the sharp eyes of an artist. Don't you believe me? No. Nick? Nope. Some friends you guys are. What about the judge? You believe me, right, Your Honor? I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you need to leave this courtroom. Bailiff, if you would. Come on, buddy, let's go. Why doesn't anybody believe me? Kicked in the butts. Don't take it personally, Larry. I know you're just being, well, you. Now then, so you're saying that what Mr. Butts really saw bears some relation to what was outside the airship at the time of the murder? Yes, Your Honor. At least I think it does. What this pterodactyl really is will prove the airship was anchored at the mooring dock. It had better, anyway. If it doesn't, my whole argument is a bust. If you're that confident about it, then please go ahead and tell us what it really was. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so he's in a cabin. The portholes, the windows, they're to the sides. Think, Phoenix, what could that pterodactyl have actually been? So it's something that passed by the window, right? Sharp, angular, one little glowy bit. Sharp, angular, one little glowy bit. Sharp, I see it! Ah, that's good! Oh, that's really good. I see it. I finally friggin' see it. Oh, that's great. Oh my god. Ah, that's good. That's real good. Please take a good look at the sign. At the sign? It appears to have been broken and then repaired. But what does this sign have to do with a pterodactyl? Please focus on this part of the sign. The part that broke off and got reattached. Oh, the part that broke off and got reattached. What about it? How about if we turn it like this? Oh, that shape. It's a pterodactyl in the drawing. What Mr. Butts actually saw was this chunk as it was being blown through the air by wind. What? That's so stupid, and I love it. On the day of the murder, there were some heavy winds in the area of the mooring dock, but it's hard to imagine that the sign would make it up as high as an airship would fly. That means the flying chapel must have been anchored at the mooring dock that night. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket?
Objection!
That's more than enough of this power of love nonsense, you pop culture junkie. Present all the proof you want, but your argument is based far too much in conjecture. Why don't we return to reality now? What do you mean, too much conjecture? Even if the airship wasn't flying, that alone doesn't prove the witness went along the wall. True, even now it's no more than a possibility. Then how do you propose Mr. Sprocket got to the Vista deck, Mr. Edgeworth? I noticed something as I went over the evidence. Please take a look at this hold entry record. What about it? I don't see Mr. Sprocket listed on here anywhere. Don't you remember? In yesterday's session, we had a very similar kind of argument. Did we? Honestly, Mr. Wright, are you going senile already? We talked about Larry Butts using the defendant's keycard to enter the hold. Oh, we did talk about that, didn't we? In other words, even if a person's name isn't on the entry record, it's still possible for that person to have entered by using someone else's card. Ah! Mr. Sprocket, you entered the hold with Mr. Nickety, didn't you? I did. What? Why didn't you tell us that in the first place? Pierce is indispensable. I didn't want to mention him unnecessarily and risk having him wrongly accused. I couldn't do without him. Mr. Sprocket, I ask that you testify in greater detail about your movement that night. Well, alright, I guess we'll leave it at that. That was really satisfying. It literally clicked in like a puzzle piece. That shape, I saw it. For a moment there I was thinking, maybe those triangular bars of the Ferris wheel and the light from a lit-up office window and the skyscraper behind it was the glowing eye, but no, it's just the blown-up map fragment that happened to look like a pterodactyl. Oh, Larry, card. Well, I guess that settles the wind question. I guess it really just honestly was very windy. Huh. And I thought so much that it would be something falling out of the dirigible that could pass by the window. But no, it's really just blown up from the ground from high winds. Huh, go figure. Well, elephant in the room. This is the last time we're gonna be in this room. Until Ace Attorney 7. Or Investigations 3. Or something brand new. Wow. Sooner or later, I'm gonna need to process these feelings. Ace Attorney. My friend. It's been my friend and companion for years now. Oh, man. Right, so, yeah, this case is pretty damn interesting. And surprisingly emotional. I was actually struck quite hard by Ellen's unique animation there when she got really crushed. I'm rooting for the both of them, the happy couple. Which means, I guess, Pierce Nickety has to be the killer, I would think. But still, I'm kind of second-guessing that. Oh man, I just don't know. Huh. So apparently, when this pendant is combined with the key of love, it causes the timekeeper to do something interesting. I feel like that might be the crux that can solve this whole case, just blow it wide open. As to what effect, I have no idea. No idea. Huh. Well, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Spirit of Justice. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.